Okay, so let's start with a simple definition of generative AI as provided by Gartner. I quote, "Generative AI refers to artificial intelligence techniques that learn from data about existing artifacts which it uses to generate new artifacts. Generative AI enables computers to generate brand new, completely original variations of content, including images, video, music, speech, and text. It can improve or alter existing content, and it can create new data elements and novel models of real-world objects such as buildings, parts, drugs, and materials." Now, to explain a bit the terminology, generative AI are basically models trained to predict and to generate a completely new response to a user prompt. This prediction, followed by generation of new information, has at its core a model that is trained on very large datasets. These datasets are known as foundation models. Many people seem to confuse Gen AI with ChatGPT, for example. However, ChatGPT is in fact just an application built on top of specific type of foundation models called large language models, or LLMs in short. In brief, LLMs are a subset of foundational models and focus specifically on natural language processing. I find it funny when people attribute superpowers to Gen AI models, including ChatGPT, BARD, and others. People often think of these technologies as some sort of a new AI invented overnight. However, in reality, what happens here is nothing new really. We are talking about our good old traditional machine learning arm of AI, whether deep learning, GANs, and others. The difference is that in the case of Gen AI, the training datasets are much larger than the traditional datasets used in standard machine learning. Of course, this is simplistic explanation, as advancements in machine learning techniques have in fact enabled this kind of innovation. We will talk a bit later about this. So, to provide you with an understanding of how Gen AI models work, let's try to provide an example. To begin with, the goal of a machine learning model, whether supervised, unsupervised, deep learning, GAN, Gen AI, or others, is to predict the probability of an outcome based on data fed into it. In the case of traditional machine learning models, you would, for example, feed pictures of cats and dogs into a model. When questioning the model, by let's say showing it an image of a cat, the algorithm could reply with a simple yes or no. Basically, it will classify that image as a cat or no cat. Taking this a notch further, showing a picture of a cat to a deep learning model would result in an answer like, "It's a cat." In brief, the deep learning model will recognize the image to be of a cat. Now, generative AI. When showing an image of a cat, just like with the deep learning model, the model will recognize this as a cat. But where things differ is that now the model also generates a completely new model of a cat. And in fact, Gen AI advances machine learning output from simple classification and recognition tasks to recognizing patterns within data, predicting what comes next after a user prompt, and actually creating and generating new information based on the patterns learned within the data. Okay, but what enables advancement from deep learning to Gen AI models? And the answer is a new type of a model, referred to as a transformer model. Think about transformer models as a bridge between deep learning and Gen AI. At its core, a transformer model does two things. Firstly, it encodes information. Think about this as subtracting data from a dataset. The encoder then sends the information to the second component of the transformer, which is the decoder. Now, the decoder learns how to represent the information to the user based on patterns learned within the data. The word represent is very important. Think about it this way. Traditional machine learning and deep learning models limit themselves to simply answering the question, it's either black or white. By contrast, Gen AI models go a step further and represent the image. In simple terms, decoders create new content, providing their perspective on what black or white means. It's a relatively simple explanation, but I trust you get the idea. Once again, we're stopping here and we will continue in the next session. Thank you for watching.